Oh, I hate it that my government steals my savings. How do they do that? Well, I put some of these guys in the bank. I saved every year, so I'd have an nest egg. But what does my government do? It prints more of these things, so many more that I fear I may have to pay for retirement with something like this. This is a $1 billion bill. Billion. It's from Zimbabwe. So, okay, our dollar hasn't been devalued this much, but I'm worried about my future. So how can I hedge against inflation and other government manipulation? Well, one thing I did was to buy Bitcoin. What are they? I'm glad you asked.
Bitcoins are digital coins you can send through the internet. You can use them in every country. Your account cannot be frozen. Bitcoin is changing finance the same way the web changed publishing.
Maybe that was made by a company that promotes Bitcoin. So how Bitcoins work exactly is hard to get your brain around. So here to try to explain is Jerry Brito of the Mercatus Center. So what happens?
Well, first thing you have to understand is that Bitcoins are not, sort of owned by a company. They're not controlled by anybody. It's a new internet protocol like email or the web. And it's a digital, decentralized currency that allows you to exchange money with anybody in the world fast and cheaply without the use of a third party like PayPal or Visa or MasterCard.
Created by a lot of different, supposedly anonymous computers?
Well, so everybody who is part of the network, and it's a peer-to-peer network, contributes their computing capacity to discovering new Bitcoins, and at the same time, they reconcile all the transactions that are transmitted over the network.
And there's this formula that creates Bitcoins, but there's a limit on the total number automatically?
The total number of Bitcoin that will ever exist is 21 million, and that will probably get there around the year 2040. And so that makes Bitcoin a deflationary currency. There's no central bank that can make more of them.
How do I know some clever kid on a computer won't just make 1 million Bitcoins?
Because of cryptography, basically, is the answer. Now, there's been many experts who have tried to crack the Bitcoin code and have been unable to do so. And so far, it's been, perfectly stable.
You mentioned PayPal.
Yeah.
Why not use that instead?
So to me, that's really the exciting part about Bitcoin, is that for the first time, you and I can transact without a third party, right? So until the invention of Bitcoin, if I wanted to send you $100, we had to use something like PayPal, Visa, MasterCard. They would deduct $100 from my account, and they would add it to yours. And at the end of the day, everything would reconcile to zero. Bitcoin allows you and me to transact with nobody between us. Why would we do that? Because these are central points of control for government regulation. And you and I may want to engage in a transaction that is frowned upon, or that is prohibited, or we want some privacy.
And government could still find out about it.
Ultimately, they may be able to find us and punish us, but they can't prevent that transaction from taking place in the first place.
They may find us if we get something shipped in the mail. They may be able to follow the mail. And there's this website Silk Road where people are buying illegal things, drugs.
That's right. Silk Road is a dark web website, so it's protected by encryption. Nobody knows where it is. It's been running for about 2 years, kind of with impunity. It's estimated that they make about $20 million in sales a year, and you can buy just about anything on Silk Road using Bitcoin.
They won't sell guns.
They won't sell guns. They won't sell anything that harms anybody, right? So they won't sell child pornography. They won't sell guns. They won't sell anything of that nature.
And, we agree that drugs only harm the users sometimes, and it's personal choice. But what do you say to my wife who says, this is just not good? One reason we have government is to protect people from this kind of stuff. That's why we have laws.
Right, and I think that law enforcement is right now looking at going after Silk Road and going after these companies, and they probably will be successful, in my opinion, because as I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin is not completely anonymous. But you have to understand that criminals can use cash to accomplish the same things, and actually, Silk Road is a drop in the bucket of the total global drug trade. What you have to keep in mind is that there are some things that are illegal or frowned upon that we do want to allow people to engage in. And Bitcoin,
Like?
Well, if you wanted to go get a mental health screening, you didn't want your employer to know or your spouse to know, you could use something like Bitcoin to do that anonymously. If you wanted to contribute to WikiLeaks, after Cablegate, if you wanted to make a contribution to WikiLeaks as an American, you can do that because PayPal, MasterCard, Bank of America froze WikiLeaks accounts and did not allow you to make a transfer to them. If they had been accepting Bitcoins, there's nothing that could be done there.
But the regulators now say, we're going to regulate this stuff.
What's interesting about Bitcoin is
You've gone to meetings with them where they've discussed this.
That's right. They cannot regulate the Bitcoin network. Now, they can regulate users of the network, and they can regulate businesses that facilitate the transfer of value. But if you and I just wanted to exchange dollars for Bitcoin, we could do that without any intermediary between us that the government could regulate.
And I should point out that one government has made it clear it views Bitcoin as a legal alternative currency, and that's Germany.
Put down that sauerkraut, because what I'm about to tell you is going to blow your Hefeweizen out of your lederhosen.
Germany will view Bitcoin as a form of private money, meaning it can tax profits made by Bitcoin companies.
That's from a website called SourceFeed. What does that mean?
A parliamentarian in Germany asked the central banker to give a ruling on Bitcoin, and they said what everybody expects them to say, which is it's private money. And that legitimizes a bit, and it allows them to start thinking about the tax implications. In this country, we haven't seen that sort of guidance from the IRS yet, but I think we'll see it pretty soon.
And they'll say, it's okay, you think?
I think they'll say it's okay because private money has traditionally been okay in the U.S. If you think about Berkeley bucks or Brooklyn bucks, you can exchange private money. It's just about the capital gains that they're going to be concerned about.
Well, I hope so, because as I said, I bought some, and I look at the price of Bitcoins since they've been introduced. Boy, I wish I'd bought them last year, where they would have appreciated a great deal. But lately, they've been going up, so who knows? Thank you, Jerry. Up next, I asked Kennedy to go to Texas to check out those guns that you can print in your home. Printing guns, though, makes people nervous.